For those of you who have been to one of my webinar presentations, you'll know that we place a lot of emphasis on the cost of employee turnover. The number one frustration in all of the business surveys we have ever done is the inability to get and keep good employees. There are several simple steps that, when done well, will make it easy to recruit, hire, train, and manage great employees. One of these key steps is proper management. Effective management meetings also serve the purpose of minimizing employee interruptions. Current studies show that managers and business owners can lose as much as 50% of their day to interruptions, basically wasted time. If an employee that you are managing knows that each week they'll have an opportunity to meet with you, they can save their questions for that meeting, questions that would normally be asked of you at any given moment during the day. In our consulting practice, we often recommend that owners spend at least 30 minutes to an hour each week in one-on-one meetings managing key employees in their organization. Most employers don't do this because they don't know how to have an effective meeting. They don't have a tool or a system for effectively managing employees. There is an instructive and useful system in TouchStone's General Systems Library on how to hold effective management meetings. This week's System of the Week will highlight that system. As usual, if you've not already added this system to your TouchStone account, you'll need to download the process from the General Systems Library. Click on the 4 Key Functions tab, click Guiding the Business, go to Add from Systems Library, and click on General Processes. Be sure to change your subfunction to Management if that is one of the subfunctions in your TouchStone application, and look for the system called Manager Meetings. If this system is grayed out, it means that you've already downloaded it into your TouchStone account. If the system in the list is not grayed out, put a check in the box to the left of the system called Manager Meetings. There is a second system that I'd recommend that you download at this time. It is a system that is referenced and linked in the Management Meetings process. This system is just beneath the Manager Meetings system. It is called Meeting Guidelines. Put a check mark to the left of that system as well. Now click on Add and the 2 systems will be added to your TouchStone account. To begin, let's look at the system. Click on the system called Manager Meetings in your Management Subfunctions area in TouchStone. You'll see that there are 2 work plans and 2 forms. The first work plan, First Meeting Agenda, is a sample agenda for the first management meeting that you would have with an employee. The purpose of this first meeting is to set the stage and context for each employee who begins a one-on-one management meeting program. Click on the First Meeting Agenda work plan. You'll see that it establishes the logistics and context for the management meeting process, the ground rules and purpose for the meeting. In Step 4, you will also see an opportunity to check in with that employee to find out what really matters to them, where they want to be in the business in the next few years, what is their biggest frustration, key questions that you can ask to help in your management of this employee. This work plan would only be used for each employee's first management meeting. Click on the second work plan called Ongoing Meeting Agenda. This is a very simple work plan to help you prepare for and execute all of the meetings after the first one. You'll notice in the second step of this work plan there is a link to the other system we downloaded called Guidelines for Effective Meetings. To be sure the system is linked, let's click on the Edit pencil in the tab at the top of the screen. Then click the Edit pencil in the specific cell where we want to make the change, the second task. Use your mouse to highlight the system name Guidelines for Effective Meetings. Then select the Link option. The link type will be a form. If you drop the Forms dialog box down, you will see alphabetically under the G's a form called Guidelines for Effective Company Meetings. Go ahead and click that, and click the Insert button. Then be sure to click on the Save button to save these changes. Let's be sure that the Insert hyperlink worked. To do this, go ahead and click on the hyperlinked system in task number 2 called Guidelines for Effective Meetings. You'll see an Internet Explorer message appearing asking whether or not you want to navigate away from this page. This is a dialog box that appears every time you've made an edit to a system. If you're sure you've saved this system, which if you've been following these directions you have, go ahead and click OK, and you'll be taken to the Guidelines for Successful Meetings form. Have a read-through on this form. They're very useful guidelines for having successful management meetings, or really any type of effective meeting at all. Okay, let's go ahead and click the back button to go back to the ongoing meeting agenda process. And let's quickly review the step-by-step tasks. Task number 1 is to prepare for the meeting. And the way to do this is to review the ongoing meeting form from the previous meeting and then add in any new topics, goals, or issues that you wish to discuss in this week's meeting. Next, be sure to start the meeting on time and follow the guidelines for effective meetings, a form that we've already just looked at. Step number 3 requires that the reporting employee brings their own one-on-one meeting book to the management meeting so they can address any issues that they have, and they can document any tasks or goals set at the meeting. The idea here is that as an employee is moving through their week, if they have issues that they wish to bring up in a management meeting, they'll document them either in TouchStone or in a one-on-one meeting form. In this way, it minimizes those ongoing interruptions. Step 4 indicates that you proceed through the meeting agenda. One of the forms in this system is called the ongoing meeting form, and we'll have a look at that in a moment. This is the meeting agenda that you will proceed through. The final step is to complete the meeting on time and confirm the date of the next scheduled meeting with the employees so that they'll be prepared and ready for that meeting. There is one exception in this system, and that is that meetings will not be missed except for very urgent or critical matters. Management meetings need to be held with a very high level of importance. They are most effective when an employee knows they can count on the meeting with their manager each and every week. If a meeting is missed, a make-up meeting will be agreed upon and scheduled. Let's have a look at the ongoing meeting form and the ongoing meeting scheduler. First, click on the ongoing meeting form. You'll notice there are 5 sections on the form: items to discuss, goals achieved or not from the last meeting, goals for the next period, identify any work or personnel issues, and finally a notes section. These are all pretty well self-explanatory. Most management meetings are used for setting and reviewing previously set goals. The one section I want to address is number 4. It is not essential to ask the employee at each and every meeting if there are any work or personnel issues that are hampering their ability to be effective, but it is something that should be asked every now and then. I've heard of a number of different cases in which an employee has been very frustrated with something that's happening at work, and they have no arena in which to discuss the issue. The one-on-one meeting is an excellent place to be able to address these issues. Okay, so let's put this system into play. Click on the Organization Chart tab and choose your position. In my case, I'll select the Manager of Sales and Marketing. I want you to add this system to your job description in TouchStone. I'm going to place my cursor over the line item called Add Existing Process, and I will click on Strategic Process. I'm making this a strategic process because it's a management process. The system I am looking for is in the management subfunction area, and it is called Manager Meetings. I will highlight Manager Meetings and click on Add, and this will add that system to this specific job description. Now click on the Home tab and click on your position in the Control Panel section. In my case, I'll click on Manager of Sales and Marketing. Locate and click on the Manager Meeting System on your control panel. If you've not created any groupings in your control panel, it will probably be at the bottom of your default process list. As you have not yet had a management meeting, simply click on the Ongoing Meeting Form button to access a blank meeting form. Let's begin by putting some specific text about this meeting in the Save As dialog box. In this case, I'm going to put the employee's initials JHF as well as the meeting date, December 5th. If I have any notes about this specific meeting, I can put them in the Notes section. I don't have any notes today, so I'm going to leave this section blank. Let's begin to complete the form. I'm going to fill in the employee's name here because I may want to print this form at a later date. If you were never planning on printing the form, putting the employee's name and date here would be redundant because the form will be saved with the employee's name and the date in the TouchStone application. But in some cases you want to print this out, so it might be a worthy piece of information to add to the form. So I'm going to write in the employee's name, James Fender, and the date, December 5th, 2008. In the first section, I will list any specific items that I plan to discuss. Maybe I noticed that this week James was entering information into our Salesforce contact management application in a method that I felt was erroneous, and I wanted to bring it up in our meeting. So I would make a note of that here. I have nothing to add in the second section because in this example, this is the first meeting I'm having with James, so I don't have any goals from the last meeting. In this meeting, I'll be sure to set some future goals for James, something that I will be sure to review in our next meeting. I'm probably going to ask him about any work issues or personnel issues because, again, it is one of my first meetings with him. And it is in this area, section number 4, that I will remember to ask about these issues. So now I want to complete this form. I go up to the top, I hit the Save button, and as I go through the week, there may be things that come up that I want to add to this agenda. To do that, I would simply go to my control panel, click on my position, locate the Manager Meetings System, and click on the completed form icon to the left of the magnifying glass. And here I'm able to access the specific form. I can click on Go and then simply add to the form and then save it. On the day of the meeting, or just prior to the meeting, I'll print this form following these instructions. Again, I'll go to my control panel, I'll click on my position, I'll click on the Manager Meetings System name, I'll click on the form icon to the left of the magnifying glass, I'll click on that specific form and press Go, and then I will click on either the Word icon or simply the print icon. Either will do. And now I have a printed version of the plan for my meeting so that I don't have to be looking and referring to my computer screen during the meeting. Once you've implemented this system, preparing for manager meetings gets easier and easier. As you build and save forms from previous meetings, it's very simple to go back to review what you discussed at a previous meeting. Simply pull up that form and make new notes for the next meeting.